So with this instrument, the sound pickup, the sound that comes through the amplifier, it goes through this wire right here and into the amplifier, is connected to what's called a contact mic. And that's a key component to this instrument and to a lot of electroacoustic instruments. There are a lot of sound artists and musicians who exploit this technologies, the contact mic, piezo transducer. They come in many different sizes. Here's a larger one, looks like that. There are the crystals that you solder to. They live inside of these little buzzers that you can yank out of various devices like computers and stuff like that. And they also look like maybe something like that. And they also look small like this. Okay, so here's the piezo up close. There's one wire connected to the brass plate, which is the common, the ground, right there on the outside. And there's another wire connected to the piezo crystals in the middle. And when sound comes in and touches this microphone or comes in contact with this plate, it causes the crystals to bend and to produce voltages. And those voltages are sent through an amplifier to complete the amplifier circuit. Inside of the BangBox, embedded underneath this bridge is a contact mic, is a piezo disc. So if I flip this over, right under here, you can hear that. Okay. And then, so all of the appendages, all of the prongs and plucks, everything, are pretty close to that mic. It was just sitting right underneath this bridge. And that's because high end is transmitted with proximity. So the closer your sound is in contact to the mic, the more high end you will get. So in the center, as you move out, you'll get more low end, a little bit more low end, and a little less high end. So if I had a really screechy sound that I wanted to limit, I could, actuate it further away. And that would, and as you play with this, a lot of this will be tacit knowledge that you'll develop through playing with this. You'll sort of start to understand. It's definitely a hands-on experience. Okay, so we have the contact mic under here, and it's picking up a lot of the surface sounds as well, so you can hear them. That's right under the mic. So we're also getting some surface sounds from the soundboard. And this is the soundboard, by the way. The soundboard actually helps with the resonance, and it gives it some character. Makes it sound a little bit more what you would think acoustic sounds are, because a soundboard is inherent in most acoustic instruments. So like a zither, for example, just straight up zither has a soundboard. And yeah, it's kind of like, how you create resonance and volume within with something like a spring. So if I just had a spring without a soundboard, we wouldn't have very much sound. But the soundboard in conjunction with this contact mic together produces a lot of sound. So you're going to get a lot of the if you were to take a direct output from here into a one track if you were recording, and then you have a mic over this whole system, maybe a stereo mic or a single condenser mic, you would have a lot of sound to work with. And that would work live too. You could have an overhead mic to pick up some high end. And that's the way, actually right now I'm playing through an amplifier and through and acoustically. This is what it sounds like if I turn the amplifier off. still a bit of sound, but you don't have some of the low end response that you would have. So for example, this long wooden tine, you wouldn't hear that as much of that low end. So the other thing that's interesting about this instrument is that you can add all kinds of springs and kinds of different kinds of resonant materials, and specifically strings, and they add reverb, which kind of creates some space. These tines sound like they might be in a dungeon or a cathedral. And that's all happening right here on this, similar to a spring reverb, which comes as part of an amplifier quite often, but you can customize your own reverberations within the instrument itself. And that being said, I have a spring that I added in the back here. I originally had it in the front, but I didn't like the way it sounded when I plucked it. So I demoted it to the basement, and down here it just resonates in sympathy. It has a sympathetic resonance to the actuation that's happening on the top.